Hi, I'm Dan Turner. I'm the Associate Dean of the Master's Programs here at the Foster School. And through the course of 3 short videos and some work that you do outside of our classrooms, I'm going to try to give you some insights, some tools that will make you a more effective presenter. I've titled the session The Logic of Persuasive Recommendations. As it will turn out, and as you will see, I think while it's great to be a gifted presenter, someone who's naturally charismatic and engaging, has an interesting voice, an interesting look, there are some things that we can all do, sometimes just in the structure of our presentation decks, and sometimes in our behaviors, the way that we deliver those decks, that will make us more effective. I hope to share some of those insights with you. Specifically, over the course of these 3 videos, I want you to be able to do some things that you cannot do today. By completing these 3 videos and the tasks associated with them, I hope that you should be able to, at the end, list the 2 basic types of presentations that you will see as a student and create as a manager. I draw this out maybe more so than we would if we weren't in an academic environment, because it will turn out that you'll see a lot of presentations offered by faculty members in class. But as we'll explore in just a moment, those faculty members have different goals when they're trying to teach you than you'll have as a management professional when you're trying to persuade people. And so your presentations that you create should probably follow a different kind of structure. As it'll turn out, most of our students are not quite as effective as they could be at presenting management recommendations in a way that audience members consider to be persuasive. And what we're going to do through these 3 videos is look at not all the reasons that presentations are not persuasive, but limit our focus to maybe the top 3 reasons, not for you, but the top 3 reasons for Foster students in general that management presentations that are intended to persuade sometimes fail to do so. And then the payoff is going to be that you will learn and develop specific presentation structures and presenter behaviors that are designed to address those top 3 sources of failure. So that's where we're headed. Here's the bad news that will appear in just a second. The things that you see in the classroom are a little different than what you'll try to create as a management professional. In the broadest sense, management presentations fall into one of these 2 categories that mirror sort of what you see in the class and what you'll produce in the real world. Most of the presentations that you see as a student are designed to inform. Right? The goal is to share data, share a viewpoint, share an idea, share an analysis or set of analyses. Our faculty members aren't trying to convince you that their ideas are correct. Our faculty members are pretty confident that their ideas already are correct, and they're just trying to explain the idea to you. So they use a structure that makes sense for our classroom. But if you were to emulate that structure in your presentations, you probably wouldn't be quite as successful as you would like. And that's because most of the presentations that you create as a management professional are not desired just to inform, but they're designed to inform and persuade. The goal of these kinds of presentations is to convince others to take recommended actions and to avoid others. So the bad news here is we can't just emulate what we see faculty doing over the next 2 years when we're trying to create persuasive presentations. There's more bad news, and that's that I've pointed out this problem to previous students, and they've directed a whole bunch of effort to try to address that issue, to make their presentations more persuasive. But in spite of all that effort, many of the presentations that we've seen, created, and delivered by students that are designed to persuade have actually failed to do so. So I've been teaching at the Foster School for about 16 years, and there's always a management recommendation component to the classes that I teach. So teams are tasked with creating and delivering a persuasive recommendation to me and to their peers in my courses. And over that period of 16 years or so, I've been collecting data from these students about how effective their peers were in making these pitches. Across 5 years of these specific 3 audiences, the Executive MBA students, the Global Executive MBA students, and the Technology Management MBA students, less than 7% of student colleagues in the audience rate recommendations designed and delivered by their peers in the classroom as very convincing. I think this is a standard that we're probably trying to hit when we offer a management recommendation. We'd like that recommendation to be created and delivered in a way that it's perceived as very convincing. Unfortunately, about 24% of our student presentations are not deemed as meeting that very convincing standard. They're simply rated as convincing. That's not bad, but I think we can do better. And the really bad news is that leaves 69% of those presentations created by students as being rated only as somewhat convincing, marginally convincing, or not at all convincing. And as a management professional, we're going to give you tools, evidence-based ones, that let you generate great ideas. We're going to ask you to then pitch or communicate or sell those ideas to other parties in a way that's inspiring, that lets them latch onto those ideas and act upon them. And it looks like we have a development opportunity on that particular dimension. When I saw this finding, I was somewhat surprised of 69% of student peers not really being convinced by arguments. So I developed a little brief survey instrument that asked them to self-report why they weren't convinced. What prevents this audience member from being persuaded further, from moving from that marginally convincing box to the convincing box, or from moving from convincing to very convincing? What would it take to improve the persuasiveness of this recommendation? What I've got listed on this slide are 12 reasons that came out of this group of students that I've surveyed over the course of these 16 years. What I'd like you to do is take some time after this video concludes in just a minute and come up with the top 3 reasons, most frequently cited by management, the receivers of these management recommendations, regarding why the recommendations were not persuasive. The goal, again, is to come up with a top 3. We can't address all of these concerns in this short video series, but we can knock off the most important ones. So this video ends in just a moment. Take this slide and deliberate a little bit. Think of the top 3 reasons. Come back and watch the second video when you're done. Thanks.